of Brent Webb. All right, guys, how are y'all doing? Good. Listen, I have condensed this to fit into this very small time frame, so we're going to start right away, all right? First thing we're going to talk about is the fact that you are programmed. From the moment that you're born, you start to get programmed, okay? The people around you, first it's, of course, your parents, and then it's siblings, teachers, whatever you're watching, whatever you're reading, wherever you're from in the world. All of that is programming. By the time you're an adult, you've got this whole false version of yourself that you've constructed in your head. So I'm going to show you today how you can get control of that. We're going to go pretty deep into it. Now, first, you are not your thoughts. Now, how many of you have that voice in your head? Raise your hands. We talked about this the other night. You've got a voice in your head, but there's two types of thoughts that it says. There's the first one where it's like you're trying to figure out something, so you go into your memory banks and you're forcing it to do something. What was her name? I think it was Mary, I'm not sure. There's that. But then there's the voice that just starts talking all by itself. The one that's narrating your life. The one that's always being negative and scaring the hell out of you. There's that voice. The one that says, remember the birthday party in 3rd grade where you peed your pants and you got embarrassed? That voice. And when that happens, when that voice says that, immediately you get flushed, you get embarrassed, right? All of the feelings come back. Because we take the feeling, we take the thought, and we hold it inside with willpower. It's one of those things, you know, when people say, you can't go there with me. That means you're getting close to something they've kind of pushed down. Or you can't talk about this with your father is another good one, because dad has some stuff. So I'm going to tell you how to get control of that stuff today. But remember this, your thoughts create your reality. You've probably heard this before, and people think that's a bunch of BS, but it really is true. What you are thinking over and over is creating your life. Now, what you're thinking over and over with emotion is literally, that's everything. Because as soon as there's feeling involved, that's when things start to happen, start to change in your life. Most people are thinking the most negative things because that is what the voice is telling them. You can't do this, you're not worthy, you're too fat, you're too ugly, you're too old, you're too poor, you're too something. That's what that voice will tell you. So your thoughts create your reality. I touched on this the other night, but this is an important topic here. We spend 40% of the day lost in the past. That means you're doing this. I wish I had done this, and then he wouldn't have left, and then this wouldn't have happened, and I wouldn't have lost the house, and this, and that, and the other. So you're in the past, thinking about things that already happened, wishing that you could change them or make them different, which of course is impossible, but 40% of every day you do that. Some form of thinking about, obsessing about the past. Another 40% of that same day, you're in the future. And what are you doing there? You are thinking about all the things you're afraid of, all the things that might happen, how bad they're going to be, and worrying about that. So that's 80% of every single day you are on autopilot, because this is running inside your mind, this programming. That leaves 20% of your day to be here in this moment, and this moment is everything, because this is the only moment where you can do anything, make any change, do anything in life, because this is the moment that matters, right? This is the moment that's right in front of you. The past, when it was happening, was in this moment. The future will be in this moment. The past and the future don't really exist except in your mind. They're just constructs. But this moment, nobody wants, right? You're making coffee, you want to drink the coffee. That's the next moment. It's Wednesday, and you want to go out on Friday. You don't want it to be Wednesday, you want Friday. You are going on vacation next week, and you don't want this week. You want to be in next week. We're always putting happiness ahead of us. It's a mental game, all right? So we're going to talk about the ABCs of mind power. We talked about this. What is the A? That is right. It is awareness. Now this has a two-pronged meaning. First of all, now if you get this, you're almost all the way there, so listen carefully. If you get what I'm about to say, you are the awareness. You are the consciousness. You're not the thoughts, because you wouldn't even know you were thinking them. If they were you, you are the consciousness that sees this going on. It's like kind of like watching a movie. Your consciousness is so wrapped up in your life, all about you, everything to do with you, that you can't really see anything else. You are the awareness in the end, okay? But here we're talking about becoming aware of the voice inside your mind and what it's saying. Because to get control of this crazy monkey mind that you have, there's only a couple of things you got to do. Awareness is the first. What is the voice saying inside your head when you're on autopilot? You're on autopilot 85, 90% of every single day. That means that the tape is running, the program is running, you are completely oblivious. Think about it when you're driving. If you're driving somewhere, are you going, I have to go a half a mile and turn left at the Giant Eagle, I have to go down here, and right? You're not doing that. You're in your mind doing something else, thinking about what you're going to do later, thinking about the argument you're going to have with your wife when you get home, right? Oh, I'm going to tell her this, and man, she's going to say this, and then I'm going to literally having the fake argument inside your mind and playing both parts. How crazy is that? But we do it. Awareness is figuring out what is that voice saying at any given time. 50,000 thoughts a day. Now, 90% of these thoughts are negative, but this 50,000 number is scary because it's so big. But 50,000 thoughts, that's everything. Everything you think about, everything you're seeing, everything your mind's saying. It's the thoughts that have emotion that matter, okay? So don't worry about the 50,000. You worry about the thoughts that when they pop into your mind, you get a feeling that comes with them. That is your red flag. Something is happening. Something's going on. The thoughts plus emotion equal your power. Most of the time, you use this power negatively because you've got negative thoughts, negative emotions. You're creating negativity all the time, okay? Thoughts and emotions create your power. Here is what is going on. If you're thinking about, like I said, you're thinking about the time you peed your pants and you get embarrassed, the feeling comes up with the thought. It's because we don't like something, we suppress it. And like I said, we attach the feeling and the thought form together. And we suppress it with willpower. How many of those things do you think a normal person has inside them? How many would you say? Thousands of them. You do it with everything, right? You're a little kid, you see a snake, it scares the hell out of you. Now for the rest of your life, what are you doing? Nobody can talk about snakes. You can't go to the reptile house at the zoo. People can't, the plumber can't come over and use his snake. You can't accidentally say snake, right? Somebody says cake, you think they say snake. You're walking down the road, there's a coiled up hose and you get scared to death, right? That's one thing. We do with everything. You take all the things you like, all the things you don't like, all the things you want to happen, and you kind of make a construct of it, okay? Now, repetition is a superpower. What does that mean? It means Doritos and ice cream got me into where I am right now. Repetition of doing the same thing, all right? Repetition can get you out as well, all right? Because you let your mind, you think your mind has free reign up there. You're kind of laying down next to it. It is running the show, but it doesn't. You're in control, you don't know it. So repetition of the right things will get you out. So first we're going to meet your crazy roommate or your bitchy roommate. I sometimes call him or her. This is the person that's living inside your mind, okay? You have to think about that voice that's talking in there like a crazy roommate, right? If you had somebody that lived in your house rent-free and all they did was insult you and give you horrible advice and are totally negative all the time, how long would you stay before you kick this person out of the house, right? We never do it. This mind can give you exactly the wrong, tell you, oh, it's never going to work, it's never going to work. Tell you one thing. As soon as there's evidence, the mind will go the other way. Like, for instance, your girlfriend's supposed to come over at 3:30. It's now 3:45. She's not there. What are you doing? Normally, you're doing this. Oh, my God, where is she? See, I don't have to stand for this. I don't understand why we were supposed to meet at 3:30. I'm ready, right? So you're doing all of this crap. I'm not going to stand for this. There's no way. I'm going to tell her when she gets here. You're so mad. She walks in. Guess what? It's your anniversary. She was late. She was picking up the cake and the present, which you don't have for her. And now, what is your mind doing? Oh my God, she's the greatest ever. I love her so much. Right? In 30 seconds, your mind completely changed. Nobody looks at that and says, my mind just gave me complete opposite advice. People don't look at it. Okay? So that is your crazy roommate. How do we get our first bit of control? You don't blame it, you name it. We talked about this briefly the other night. You name that voice, and there's a reason you do it. Not because it's cheesy, not because it's corny, it's only because it works. Because there's a voice that talks, right? Some people think, wow, this is the voice of God, it's the voice of the future, or the voice starts talking and you just get sucked into it. And the next thing you know, you're down some rabbit hole, right? So you name that voice. I named mine Carl. You name yours whatever you want. But when it starts talking, what you do is you go, oh, there goes Carl again. As soon as you realize it's talking, there goes Carl again. Kind of make it funny. It's a little kid. It's a little kid not getting his way, okay? If you look at the voice like that, instead of this booming voice of the future, it will take the sting away. It takes the power away of it. So, what do you do from here? The second part of this is how you're going to figure out what that voice is saying. So what is Carl saying? Get some Post-it notes. I say 20. You take the name of the voice, so Carl in my case, you put them on those Post-it notes and you put them all over the house. Put one in the closet, put one in the bathroom, put one in the car. Put one, a couple of places you don't go a lot. And now for the next 7 days, all you're going to do, you're going to carry a little pad, you're going to carry a pen, and you're going to walk around. Whenever you see one of those, it's your trigger to stop. What is on my mind right now? That's all you got to do. What is on my mind right now? And you're going to get whatever that tape is saying, you're going to get the end of it. You just write it down. And for a week you do that, and what you're going to do is don't even look at the book. Spend 7 days doing that. And at the end of 7 days, I want you to go and read the book, and you are going to see the most screwed up bunch of BS you have ever read in your life. Because it's not true. It's not. You weren't mature. You weren't processing as an adult. You were a child when you made that. So you're going to see the kind of crap that voice is saying. The power starts to come back. It loosens that hold. Next is the B. What's the B? That is right. It is belief. Now, again, this has two prongs. There is the belief, the self-belief, the confidence that comes from getting control of your mind. There's also, what do you believe? What beliefs do you have that aren't true anymore? What beliefs are you holding that somebody else put in you? There's a lot of people doing jobs right now because their dad wanted them to be a lawyer, for instance. So they're miserable being a lawyer because that's what dad wanted. How many people are full of beliefs that aren't theirs? Okay? Now, anybody know what this is? Where this is? This is South Fork. You know the show? This is from Dallas. This is a TV show in the 80s. Now, this is one of those big primetime soap operas, very glitzy, lots of rich people, totally miserable, lots of, divorces and adultery and drunk people and murders and everything else. I watched this show, started watching when I was 4 years old, and it was on until I was in high school. So this show was my life when I was a kid, okay? First of all, not a great show for a kid to be watching, so my mom dropped the ball on that. I agree. But this is what this show did to me. I thought, man, this is the way to be. JR, right? Everybody loved that guy. He was evil. He was always smiling, this dude. He got all the money. He got all the women. He was so nasty to everybody. I thought that is the way to be. That is definitely the way to be. Be like him. Money is what matters. So I did that for the first 20 years of my life. Seriously, I patterned my life after a TV character. Because that is what we do. So think about it. It's programming. It's literally a TV program. As a kid, I thought that's the way. It's what I want. I'll be happy. I'll be happy. When I made $1 million, I was 20 years old. And guess what? I was happy for about a week. And then I realized this is all BS. Then I started drinking, then I started smoking, then I started doing all this bad stuff because it was such a letdown that the fact that I had thought I had made it and it was just BS. Money wasn't it. If anytime you put your happiness in someone else or in something else, it is never going to work. So that's when people say, when I get the right job, I'll be happy. When I get a smaller butt, I'll be happy. When I lose 10 pounds, when I meet the right guy, whatever. It puts happiness ahead of you, okay? And you're chasing it for the rest of your life. This is the book. You can find this online there. There's a free copy. There's free copies all over the place. But The Magic of Believing is the book. When I was 10 years old, I got it at the library. Took it out by accident, actually. And it was all about the power of the mind and the power of belief. And when I started working with celebrities, the first celebrity I worked with was Joan Rivers. I worked with Phyllis Diller, Carol Burnett. These three ladies are huge proponents of that book. In fact, they give their entire career to that book because they read it, they put it to use, and they made it happen. In Phyllis Diller's case, There was no female stand-up comedians, really. She was, a lot of people didn't think she was funny. She had 5 kids and a husband who didn't want to work. This woman became a legend from that book. She started using that, using all of the things in it. It's a great book. If you can get a copy, you pick it up. It's The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol is the book, okay? So, what else can you do? Once you've named the voice in your head, and once you start to realize, you're realizing that it's all just a bunch of crap, what do you do next? Well, the 2 times that you are closest to contacting, it's not your subconscious. Everybody says subconscious mind. When you were a child, there was just mind. You built this other area by deciding what you like, what you don't like, what scares you. You've built kind of a subconscious. It's not really what it is, but there's 2 times in the day when you're close to that area of being able to tap in there. And it's first thing in the morning, last thing at night, because you're kind of between asleep and awake. You're in that gray area, okay? So, things that you do at that point. You can do affirmations. We'll get to that in a moment. But if you wake up in the morning thinking about all of the things that happened yesterday, and thinking, oh God, I wish I had done this, or oh, I did this wrong, or I'm so worried about this, you're living in the past. And that means you're living the same day. Oh, it's like Groundhog Day. You're bringing the same feeling. So it's not really a new day. You haven't had a chance to recycle. Because whatever you're thinking about at the end of the night, think about this. Whatever you're thinking about at the end of the night is what you are going to marinate on all night long. Okay? It's on your mind at the end of the night. Do you want to spend the next 6 hours thinking about the meeting with the boss tomorrow and how afraid you are, whatever's going on? That is what you're going to think about. Your mind is going to be working on that all night long. Okay? So, and if you're worried about things that haven't happened yet, obviously you're living in the future, which either one of those things are not real. They're not here. So affirmations. You know what this is? These are things that you say. Things that you say about yourself is an affirmation. Most people are using this so wrong because they're saying things like, I hate my life. Be honest, how many people said that? I hate my life. Ever. About anything. Come on. I hate my life. I'm not lucky. My mom, she loves to gamble. I talked to her the other day. I'm going to the casino today, but I don't know why I'm going because I never win. Exactly. That's an affirmation. You're affirming the things you don't want, and you're making it happen. You're affirming it. Your mind does not know the difference, listen to this, between doing something or thinking about it. And this is true, look it up. I do a lot of shows with Cleveland Browns, the Dodgers. They have sports psychologists that come in and teach the team how to play the game in their mind. Runners do it all the time. They run the race in their mind. So, visualization is the next thing. Affirmations, those are things you say, like, what if it's raining and you're going on a picnic today? It's just raining, right? And first of all, it has nothing to do with you because, people think everything has to do with them. The world's been here for billions of years. The universe has been here for billions of years. It's been happening, right? Now you're here and you think it's all about you. You think everything has to do with you, right? It's what you want. You want the things that you want, and you want to make sure you don't get the things you don't want. And you spend your entire life trying to twist reality to make that happen. That is really the basic truth of all of this. So visualization is, for people that are more visual, of course, affirmation, you're hearing it. Visualization is getting the crystal clear vision in your mind, getting a picture in your mind, okay? Whatever it is that you want. Now again, this isn't law of attraction or anything like that. It's not, I'm going to sit in my living room and I'm going to just think about a Ferrari and it's going to be in my driveway kind of crap, because that's not real. This is real. If you start visualizing an anchor image in your mind, instead of the negative things you are thinking about now. Anytime you're in line at the bank, you're waiting to go through the car wash, you can do this. You can get an image that you're going to make up of whatever it is that you want, whatever life you want to live, whatever qualities you want to bring about in yourself, and you just visualize that. You get a picture that you can visualize. It's called an anchor image. Now you're standing in line, you just visualize it for a little bit. You kind of feel it. You make yourself feel it. How would I feel if I was that person, right? And that's called living in the end. Have you ever heard of that before? Okay, living in the end means you are living in the state where you want to be. And not the state of the union, but the state in your mind, right? So, if you want to be wealthy, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of, how would this person feel? How would somebody feel who didn't have to worry about, finances? How would this person feel? Would they be more confident? How would they feel and then kind of try to feel that way. And it's a lie, but it's the real meaning of, have you ever heard fake it till you make it? People think that means I'm going to wear a fake Rolex, I'm going to rent a Mercedes, and you're going to think I'm rich until I get rich. That's not what it means. It's this exactly. Feel it, feel yourself as the person before you become the person, and you will start becoming the person. Think like the person you want to be, you will become that person. It doesn't get any easier than that. Now, we didn't cover this in every show. I missed it in one show. That's the C, that's connection. Now, this also has a couple of meanings. First of all, there is the connection that we have with each other, because all of us are connected to each other. And it's just the way it is. It's true. I did a meditation retreat in Nepal about 18 years ago. And the monk there said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a mentalist, and I read minds and all this." And he said, "Think of any word." And I did. And he said, "lumberjack," and that was it. And from that point on, everything changed. I was doing something, I was pretending to do something that he was actually doing. Because we are all connected to each other. Our consciousnesses are connected too. But we are so blocked up with our own bull that we don't see each other. We don't connect to each other. We're so focused on ourselves. Our consciousness is so focused on us, right? We don't see anything else. It's difficult. So, we are one. We are connected. But that's not what I'm talking about, because here, I'm talking about the connection that you have with yourself. Because this is the third part. It's probably the most important of the three. Awareness is important. You have to figure out what the voice is saying. But you need to do something every day where you connect to yourself. Okay? And it makes sense. Think about this. In 1989, we had an attention span that was 7 minutes. Today, it's less than 10 seconds. That's why everything online is flashy and you're scrolling to get you to stop. You have no attention span. So nobody ever sits alone with themselves anymore. Why? Because the voice starts talking in your head right away, right? As soon as you sit down and you're quiet, the thoughts start, the overthinking starts, what you have to do tomorrow, that all starts. So you've got to connect with yourself. Because what will happen is you are going to find the most unbelievable power, the most of peace. Everything that you're looking for is an inner thing. It's not an outer thing, okay? Remember, things that matter, love, confidence, courage, those are outer or inner world things. You can't go in the outer world and get them, okay? You think you can, but you can't, okay? Love has to come from inside first. It's not going to come in someone else, because then it's dependent on them. Oh my God, don't leave. Where are you going? Right? It becomes, the love is now dependent on that person's actions, and it takes it out of your power. So connecting with yourself requires some sort of meditation. Now, don't be afraid of the word, because a lot of people think it means, going to sit in a cave somewhere in the mountains and you're doing some sort of ritual. It's not religious. It fits in with any religious practice. In fact, this sort of thing is in every religious text, including the Bible. This contemplation, the prayer, you're doing something where you're sitting silently with yourself, okay? Eventually you will connect to the inner you, the soul you, the consciousness. You will connect, and when you get there, even for a second, you'll never stop meditating, because you'll realize how powerful it is, okay? So, I'm going to tell you how to do this. Twice a day, first thing in the morning, somewhere around 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't want to do it too late, because it will keep you up. It's going to keep you up because of the energy flow. You have so much energy inside you, but it's blocked, right? It's blocked. It never comes out. It gets about up to the heart in most people. It's meant to be flowing up, but it's blocked by all of your blockages, all of your stuff, all of your likes and your dislikes, and who hurt you and what mommy did. All of that stuff is blocking it from coming up. So, you're going to sit in a chair, okay, straight back chair, feet flat on the floor. Put your hands on your knees, okay? Back straight. All you have to do is take a couple of really deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, okay? Then you're going to close your eyes, and then you're going to spend 5 minutes, set the alarm on your phone, and all you're going to do is, with your eyes closed, you're going to count silently in your head from 1 to 20, over and over and over again. And this was one of the first things I ever came up with years ago. It's extremely powerful because it sounds super simple, But guess what? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. Let me give you an impersonation of your first time meditating. You're going to sit down. You're going to put your feet flat on the floor, your hands on your knees. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to take those breaths. And then you're going to start counting. 1, 2, 3. God, my answer. So why am I sitting here? Are we sure this even works? This is this bull, right? All you do at that point is go right back to 1. You do not judge what the voice is saying. You don't get sucked into it. You don't try to figure out why it's saying it. You go back to 1, 2, 3. Again, silently. 4, 5. My arm is sore. My arm is sore. And my butt's kind of sore too. Now that I'm sitting like, right? 1, 2. That's it. That's all you have to do. I don't care if you do it 150 times. What you are doing here is you are creating an unbelievable power of focus. My teachers used to say, you need to learn to focus. And finally I said, when did we learn to focus? I missed that day. They agreed, they didn't know either. And it's true. You will create focus like you have never had in your life because you're constantly pulling it back. You're pulling it back to the 1, pulling it back. You're forcing your mind, right? You're forcing that willpower over and over. It's like strengthening a muscle. Do it for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes around lunchtime. It will rejuvenate you for the rest of the day. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself for what the voice is saying. Don't get sucked into it. Because this is another form of awareness because you're going to sit there and guess what? For the first time, you're going to actually hear what that old rusty tape is saying because there's nothing else going on. You're silent. You're not moving. You're sitting. So the voice that's running in your head there, it's just like the Post-it notes. You're going to hear exactly what it's saying. And a lot of those things will start to lose their power when you realize, wow, they no longer fit into my life. They no longer matter to me. Okay? So, we live in 2 worlds, and I touched on this. This is powerful too. We live in 2 worlds. There is the world, our inner world. That's thoughts, ideas, emotions, right? Then there's the outer world. That's people and things and places and objects, right? Those 2 worlds are connected to each other, and each one of us is in both. Right now, I'm standing here, you're sitting out there, we're in the outer world together, right? But each one of us is in our inner world. So if I'm boring one of you, and you don't want to be rude and leave, you can sit there and be thinking about something else and completely tune me out. Because you have an inner world and an outer world. The outer world is what everyone thinks matters. That is the one. That's the primary. Because that's where the big houses are. That's where the cars are. That's where the money is, right? It's not true. The inner world is the only one that matters. It's primary. Outer world is number 2. It's not like you're going to become a monk and give up on your life. But you're going to realize that because these worlds are connected to each other, normally what's happening is somebody says something in the outer world, something happens, you react to it in your inner world. Somebody walks up to you and says, are you sick? You look like crap today. And then they leave. It's over, right? Not for you, because you're going to spend the next hour or 2 thinking, why did he say that? What's wrong with me? What do I look like? You might even go to the doctor. You take it into your inner world. Something someone said, like the teacher to me. You take it in, it becomes a belief. Okay? So this 2 worlds is important because when you think about it, outer world, inner world, we spend all of our time out there. It's all about out there. Okay? We don't ever think about the inner. By doing that, and I talk about this too, I'll be happy when. That means I'll be happy when I meet the right person. I'll be happy when I get the new house, the new car, the job, the promotion, whatever. And when you do that, what's happening is ahead of you constantly. It's never where you are. It's ahead of you. You never have it. You're chasing it, and you'll always be chasing it because it's in something else. And then it's contingent on that other thing, right? If the person leaves you, you're devastated. It's over, right, for you. You're devastated, right? This energy that you have inside you, I tell people it's running all the time. You can't feel it. And I'll tell you how you know. Say you broke up with your girlfriend, right? You had a long 5-year relationship. It was amazing. She breaks up with you for no reason. You're so depressed. You can't get out of bed. You spent a week. You haven't shaved. You haven't showered. The house is a mess. Pizza crusts everywhere. Empty cans everywhere. The place is a pigsty, right? The phone rings. You can barely get out of bed. The phone rings. It's the ex-girlfriend. And she says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I made a huge mistake. I cannot live without you. I don't know why I did that. Can I please come see you? What happens now? All of the energy, you're going to feel energy like you've never felt before. Where did it come from? She didn't do it. She didn't do that to you. You did it to yourself, which means you're also blocking it. That energy is inside you. It's inside all of us. It doesn't take a new car or a new job. That's what we think. I've got to earn it. I've got to somehow earn that feeling, that rush of energy, and you don't. It's yours, okay? If you're having a day where there's a lot of negatives and you're starting to feel like you're getting closed in by all of that, this is what I tell most people. This is a picture of outer space from a telescope, or a non-telescope, satellite. This is a picture, you know what that is over there? Exactly. That's where you are right now, okay? Think about this. This is where you are. You are on a giant rock that is hurtling through outer space, right? And you're worried about ketchup on your pants, what Mary thinks of your dress, the scratch on your car. That's what we're doing. This is a miracle. If you think about it this way, you are on the only planet that we've ever found that can sustain life. Everything is happening every minute. You can be what you want, go where you want, but nobody ever sees the big picture. This is where you are. This could literally disappear and it wouldn't affect the rest of the universe, right? It's a living miracle. You are here for a very short amount of time, and you are spending that time obsessed with yourself, what you want and what you do not want. That's what we're doing, okay? You are here, right? So, here's what's going to happen. After you've become aware of what's going on, and you start writing it down, right? Then the belief starts to come back. You start taking a look at your belief system. What am I believing now that's not real? What did somebody tell me or teach me when I was a kid that I now realize is wrong? Look at those things. The belief starts to come back, and then when you meditate, do those three things together. The meditation, when you sit there silently, it seeps into your life. I don't know how else to explain it. It's going to seep into your life. And the things that you're strengthening, your focus and these abilities will come into your everyday life. And when they do, it will change everything because you won't even know it. Somebody will walk up to you that used to just PO you to no end, right? They would come up and they'd start a fight and it'd be horrible. You realize they came up to you and you walked away. You didn't get sucked into it. You don't even realize till it's over that it didn't affect you this time. Those things happen because what's going on is you are creating this kind of space between something happening and your reaction to it. Meditation does that. So now, whenever this person appears and they start trying to antagonize you, it gets slow. It seems like things slow down. You're in the zone. And all you've got to do is ask yourself this question. This is it. You have to have enough time between them saying it or something happening that's bothering you, enough time to ask yourself this: is this worth my peace? That question will save your life because I can tell you 99.9% of the time it is not. It is not worth your time. It's not worth your peace by any means. So thinking this, keeping that in your mind, use it as an affirmation, right? I want my life to be about peace, or my life is peaceful, whatever. Use that as an affirmation. But peace, everything comes from this. If you're looking for money, if you're looking for health, if you're looking for whatever it is, peace is where it's coming from. Because disease, like you have a disease, right? Dis-ease, not at ease. Anxiety and stress are mentally created, and it is so bad now. I mean, we have ramped it up, 80% or something more than people in the 60s. Because we're creating that. Anxiety is a mind-created thing. You're doing it. So, is this worth my peace? And again, almost all the time, it is not. That one question. So if you put the ABCs together, you start doing them. If you start doing them tomorrow morning, and you do the notepad for 7 days, you meditate, you force yourself, no matter what happens, no matter what you think, you're going to do it just for a week, for 7 days, you will see, I promise you, such a change. It will make you go further. It will be like rocket fuel to your soul, because it is. As soon as you see something happening, it gives you motivation. You know it's real. You know it's working. All right? Everything here, if you go here, brentsgroup.com, I have a free group online where I teach this and I give you advice. If you want to follow me, take a picture of that, okay? Because there's nothing to buy there. You can, every day I'm putting out videos and information. I just want to get this in the right hands because really, we can change everything. All right, you guys have been amazing. I'll be back there. Have a great day.